What's up, peace, light, and love? I'm Shakesha Divine. I want to come through with this cosmic cipher, man. The cosmic cipher, what I'm talking about is the messages that the divine gives us, that divine guidance that's laid out here in these cosmic streets that really help us along this thing we call ascension. And so the thing that spirit really laid in my heart is for us to really begin looking at those spirit animal oracles, no doubt about it, the astrology, the numerology, and all of those things. The very first thing that I like to look to is the luminaries. The luminaries are those things that bring us light. The luminaries are the sun, the moon. They really help us to shine light on those areas in our lives where we really need to really begin to examine and embrace. And so the sun comes in, it gives us that opportunity to take a look at ourselves, to examine ourselves. And so right now we got that sun in Aries. It's at 18 degrees of Aries. And when the sun is in 18 degrees of Aries, it's really asking us to check in and examine ourselves, our ego, right? Our routines, the things that we've been doing. This is an opportunity for us to get this cosmic check-in to really take a look at how we've been moving out here in these particular streets. And then we got this moon, right? The moon is also a luminary. The luminaries never go retrograde. This is energy that's constant, it's steady, no doubt about it, right? And so when we check in on that moon energy, right, it's really encouraging us to embrace how we're feeling. And so with the moon, it comes in at Leo at 22 degrees. Leo energy, right, is really encouraging us to embrace those things just with our ego and everything, those things that we really like. But really, Leo also deals with the things that we hold near and dear in our heart, right? Leo is regal energy, right? This is about stepping into your sovereignty and your power and everything. And when it's at 22 degrees, right, it's really encouraging us to take those things that we know, that knowledge that we have, we turn it into wisdom, and we get out here in these streets and we shine our light. So the planet Mercury, it comes through, right? It's in Pisces. That's at 23 degrees. Mercury brings that energy of reminding us to think about some things, right? Consider some things. Now, right now, we dealing with this Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury retrogrades is a cosmic check-in to think about how we've been thinking about things, right? This is that cosmic check-in on how we've been processing this world around us. It being in at Pisces, right? This is really giving us an opportunity to look at those things that we hold hidden within us, right? This is giving us an opportunity to really begin transforming how we navigate in these streets, right? Because see, Piscean energy, right? This is where the blind spot is at. It holds where all of our secrets is at and everything. So when we do those things that we don't really recognize why we doing it, why we find ourselves in these situations over and over again, we keep finding ourselves dating the wrong folks, right? They look the same, but they got the same type of particular energy and everything. Well, this is where you want to deal with that in the house of Pisces, right? Luckily, we doing this cosmic check-in in Mercury, in Pisces, right? And when it's at 26 degrees, this is about really helping us to transform that particular energy, right? See, when we begin embracing the darkness that's within ourselves, right, and really becoming at home with who we are, right, this is really giving us an opportunity to really begin elevating the vibration, helping us to recalibrate, no doubt about it. Now, Venus, of course, is in retrograde as well. Again, it's a cosmic check-in. Venus comes in reminding us to love, reminding us to value. This kicked it back in Pisces as well, right? It started off in Aries. Aries reminds us about ourselves, checking in with who we are. But this Piscean energy, right? This is really helping us to get to know ourselves, to really consider where we're at, right? And so with this cosmic check-in, it being in Venus, right? Reminding us to check in how we've been showing up in our love relationships, right? Now, this is really about like those things that we hold near and dear in our heart. These is the secret things that we like, the things that make us feel insecure and everything, right? And so with it coming in Aries, right, this is also about like a lot of times we get into these situations where we feeling a little bit in this competitive energy and everything, right? So this is really giving us an opportunity to really begin loving on ourselves, not judging ourselves and being a player hater and talking about how we bad for doing that, right? But really beginning embracing who we are, right? And allowing ourselves to make peace with who it is that we are so that we can operate with awareness, proficiency. And this is what's going to help us to be able to have a lot more compassion for others moving forward. Now we moving on to this Mars energy, and Mars, it comes through. It's still in its detriment. It's in Cancer. And Mars, when Mars comes in, it's the motivation energy. Mars comes in with this energy of I act, right? But it coming in with Cancer. Cancer is all about our feelings and everything, right? And so Mars is about action and everything. So this energy, it coming together, it's making it feel some type of way. But this Mars energy, right, it's really motivating us to really begin checking in on our feelings, right? And really those hidden agendas that we got again. See, this is really the divine setting us up to really begin looking at ourselves, being true, being 100% real with ourselves. Well, you know what? And then I just got a flash of that black moon Lilith that just shifted over here in Scorpio, right? See, this is all about us really embracing that darkness within us, right? And so these planets is really coming in, reminding us about how this experience we call humanity, right? We dive in darkness and everything, right? Because there's duality within all of us. We light, we dark, we good days, bad days, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? What have you. And so these planets is really coming through, reminding us that this is what human nature looks like. So it's time for us to get into this space where we're embracing it, right? And so Jupiter, it comes through. Jupiter reminds us it's about growth, it's about expansion. And then it comes in Gemini at 17 degrees. Now, when it comes in Gemini at 17 degrees, this is really encouraging us to gain some information, expansion on how we've been communicating, especially when we in our relationships and everything, how we've been dealing with folks and everything, because we might want to check in with how we've been operating and handling folks, right? Because a lot of times when we talking to folks, we talking from an egoic standpoint, right? And we ain't realizing that perhaps we might be boss talking some folks or something like that, right? So we might want to be checking in on that and everything, right? But this Jupiter and Gemini is really making sure that in our connections, in our relationships, in our exchanges, right, that this is not a dynamic that's happening on either way. You don't want nobody running over you and everything. You want to make sure that that power, that authority is rightly divided, no doubt about it, right? So then Saturn comes in. Now, I like when Saturn shows up, no doubt, because Saturn is coming in at 25 degrees of Pisces. And when it comes in, see, Saturn energy is all about discipline. It reminds us if we want to achieve something, we going to have to fall into the business of discipline, no doubt, right? And so Saturn coming in at 25 degrees of Pisces is really reminding us about making sure that we are checking in on all of those blind spots that we got, right? Transforming that so that we can really take the commander seat out here in these particular streets. See, Saturn is really making sure that we recognize those things that we fall short on. We got to get a handle on that, get some discipline up in our lives. See, if we got some addictions, we got some other behaviors and everything, we need to be putting a container on and everything. Saturn is coming in here to check your hat at the door to remind you that this is what needs to happen if you're trying to be successful at the end of the day. So Uranus comes in with this energy, making sure that we go shift this energy. See, Uranus energy is about that evolution, no doubt about it, right? And so Uranus is in Taurus at 25 degrees. And when Uranus is at Taurus at 25 degrees, this is really making sure that we are evolving in the way that we earn our money. What is motivating us at the end of the day? Where's our values at? We need to be checking in on that, right? Because see, this is what drives our ambition and everything, right? And so Uranus coming through here at 25 degrees of Taurus, right? Before it shifts over into Gemini in the summertime and everything, right? It's really making sure that we got our motivations in check, right? Making sure that the things that we going for is really what we doing the right things for the right reasons. You understand what I'm saying? And so Uranus is coming through, really encouraging us to disrupt this whole process if this is what needs to happen, because we got to shift out here in these particular streets. When we start shifting in our values and everything, the things that we start to achieve, we start doing that at a higher vibration and a higher frequency and everything, then this is when we start taking the commander seat, the leadership, so that we can begin shifting forward in a most empowering way. So then Neptune comes through. I'm liking Neptune right now because we doing the new energy right now, right? We got Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees. We talking about 165-year cycle. We doing it in a big and powerful way right about now. We talking about the for real reset button, no doubt. Because see, we was at Neptune that was in Pisces not too long ago. That was the very last degree on that. That was the very, see, Pisces is the last zodiac on the zodiac wheel. So when we shifted over into Aries, this is the whole new reset. But guess what? We smarter now, right? Because y'all know they talk about like a lot of these placements that we got. This is what it looks like when we go into war, and this is where. But you got to realize, see, we in the age of information at this point in time, right? And so now we got Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees. Neptune reminds us about imagining, about dreaming and everything. See, now it being in Aries, right? This is about our ambitions, those things that we really motivated, we going for, what we go take authority and take charge, take leadership out in our life. Now let's dream big out here in these particular streets, right? So that we can really begin making some light shine out here in these particular streets. This is that energy that we tapping into, right? Because see, we in this age of information where we got a lot more knowledge, we got more wisdom now. And so now, let me tell you something. Now we can make a higher vibration choice. So Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees is letting us know about the endless possibilities and all of this, right? And so this is where we linking it up with this Plutonian vibration. Plutonian vibration is coming through, reminding us about transforming our energy. Pluto comes in at Aquarius at 3 degrees. And when Pluto is in Aquarius, in Aquarius at 3 degrees, this is some real live revolutionary power to the people energy, right? Pluto energy reminds us about that transformation. It empowers us, right? It really helps us to reveal those aspects in our lives where we feel most where we feel the least amount of power. That's what I'm trying to say right there. That's what Pluto does. It helps us in transforming that. Now it's in Aquarius. This is humanitarian energy, right? So we talking about transforming the way that we've been doing policies, right? The way that we've been showing up in these particular streets, how we've been doing people out here in these particular streets, right? Because see, when it's at 3 degrees, right, this is about really upgrading the level, right? Transforming the way we have been dealing with people, how we have been showing up in this world. We talking about major paradigm shifting energy. Now, this energy is reminding us that the revolution, it starts within. You understand? And so what this is really doing is reminding us about examining ourselves, examining who we are, embracing the ego within ourselves and considering all of the things, our hidden motives that's within us and everything. And when we begin to value those things, those lessons that we've learned and everything, right? This is when we begin shifting in our motivations, right? Because we start recognizing that we're doing things from a higher vibration, right? The ego is in check at this particular point in time, right? And so we ain't doing it just for just this emotional gratification and everything. It may be emotional gratification, but it's for a totally different reason. You understand what I'm saying? The vibration is raised upon it and everything. You understand? And see, and this is what we do when we begin expanding in our communication, how we connecting with each other and everything. We start disciplining ourselves so that we can make our dreams come true. Those things that we ain't got too many boundaries on and everything, we putting some walls up on that thing and everything. We got to balance our energy out. So we had them limitations, no doubt about it, right? So that we can shift, so that we can disrupt the way that we've been navigating in these particular streets. Because see, we used to be all about this mighty dollar and everything. We didn't care about no connections and everything. We realized that was some foolishness. We shifted in what's motivating us, right? Now we recognize that we really got to move into a higher level of consciousness where we caring about people, right? It ain't all about like F all of those people. I'm about getting money. We really about making sure that we being about building that community, right? So that everybody can get some money and have some wealth for themselves and everything. Not just me, but everybody, right? We all about doing that, right? We don't raise the frequency up on how we moving out here in these particular streets. Now imagine what that'll look like if we start really fighting for that moving forward, right? See, this is what these planets is talking about, right? See, when we doing that internal work, right, we start really becoming true to who we are and everything, embracing who we are. We have a lot more compassion so that we start really begin setting the stage so that we can have higher vibration policies that really begin to embrace the sovereignty, the majesty, and all others around us. Now, what a world. How exciting would that be out here in these particular streets, y'all? How exciting would that be? So this right here is the message that we got right now. Hold up, let me make sure. Let's see what spirit animals is coming through. I'm wrong if I don't do that, right? Okay. So the swan comes through. Now, when the swan comes through, the swan is coming through, reminding us that sometimes when we start thinking about the things that we want in life, it's really time for us to begin diving deep. This is about really making sure that we're making the choices that's going to be in alignment so that we can make the things that we want to see happen and manifest within our life happen. But when this swan comes up telling us that it's time for us to take a deep dive, it's really time for us to begin taking inventory because there's a blind spot somewhere. So when this swan comes through, it's reminding us that we got to make sure that we doing that. And this is where this planet is coming through, reminding us about embracing who we are so that we can take those lessons learned and start really begin shifting in how we moving out here in these particular streets. Now the chameleon's coming through. And when this chameleon comes through, it's reminding us about alignment energy, no doubt about it. See, this chameleon comes through reminding you about acting as if, right? Now, this ain't about you like just like straight up pretending having no particular knowledge whatsoever, right? And you just, falling in line and just playing this pretending game, right? But this is really about knowing that you've done the work. So this is you stepping into your power and recognizing what's real, right? Because we let a lot of times we let this imposter syndrome kind of stop us and hold us from being able to move forward and doing the things that we want, that we need to do, right? Those things that's really making sure that we're in alignment with the vision for our lives. You understand what I'm saying? But this chameleon is coming through reminding us about how important it is for us to really begin to be in this stable, solid, foundational energy that reminds us of who we are. We firm on our square. We acting as if we know who we are. We firm and we rooted and grounded in who it is that we are. Okay, I got you. And so this is what that beaver is coming through, reminding us that's what we need to do when we acting as if we laying that firm foundation. See, this is what we doing, right? See, this is not about us pretending that we something that we ain't. We laying that foundation. This is helping us to reinforce who it is that we are, right? Because we we did all of this study, and then sometimes we get it in our mind that we ain't got enough doing. But this is all about you making sure that you recognize who it is you are so that you can be in the power of what it is that you are. You understand what I'm saying? And then when you do that, see, that's when that lion begins showing up. This is helping you to be generous in spirit. This is what's raising that frequency up. This is what's making you magnetic to those things that you want. This is when you begin stepping into your power. This is when you start recognizing that the infinite possibilities is so available to you. No doubt about this, because when that spirit is generous, that energy, that vibration is magnetic, baby. And this is what really helps you to become attracted to those things that you want within your life. But you got to really begin diving deep and begin thinking about those things that's going to help you to stay in alignment with those things that you truly, truly want to bring into your life. So definitely make sure that you're checking in on yourself, becoming at peace with who you are, embracing your darkness. What an auspicious time for us to be alive. Show yourself some love first and foremost, and then get out here and shine that light out here in this world. So I hope that this helped you out. Peace, light, and love.